Why was raising honeybees banned in the city? Bees are a natural part of the environment, aren't they?
Well, they are and there aren't. There are something like 250 different types of bees that are now considered feral bees here in New York City, in the 5 boroughs. The honeybees that we raise are not native to North America, in fact, to the Americas at all. And your other question...
Where are they from?
Well, Central Asia. They began about 200 million years ago as a Vespa, and then 100 million or so years later they evolved into the apis that they are now. And we brought them over when we settled in this country. Well, before it was a country, around 1600 is when the Europeans began to bring honeybees into this country. They were called the white man's fly and were seen as a harbinger for the encroachment of Europeans by the Native Americans.
They were felt to be dangerous. Everybody was afraid they'd sting.
Well, back at that time, I don't think it was a concern. And
I mean the reason we have this law that you and other beekeepers have finally gotten overturned.
Well, I believe it was 1999, and I believe it was under Giuliani that this law went into effect.
Oh, so beekeeping was okay before then?
Yes, for
another Rudy Giuliani protecting New York from terrorist bees.
Yeah, it was something like that. We did manage to thrive for centuries in New York City, despite honeybees being legal. And now, once again, the reign of tyranny is over.
Do you have to get a license or some sort of training?
You know, unfortunately, you do not need to get some sort of training, which is one thing that the New York City Beekeepers Association had rather hoped would be a part of the change.
Is this a good place to have honeybees? Because I would think that there isn't all that much greenery. The bees might be a lot happier in the countryside.
Well, I'm going to answer you while I spoon out a little bit of honey for you from a hive that is on 14th and 2nd.
Boy, that is rich.
It has a nice citrusy taste with a little minty finish, I think.
And where does that pollen come from?
Well, the bees produce honey and pollen. Well, they produce other things, but they gather nectar from the flowers.
The nectar is what I meant.
And they fly for 3 miles from their hive. That's about 12,000 acres in all directions. So our streets, our avenues are lined with trees. They're all budding. There are parks, community gardens. There's Japanese knotweed in the alleys. There is so much nectar out there to be had, and very few pollinators pollinating.